A very warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us on today's program on Leadership Dialogue. I am Aisha Shetima and I have with me an educator, a professor, researcher, and consultant. I have Mr. Rock Matt Laudel. I don't know, did I get that correctly? I hope I did. Very beautiful name. And we will be speaking on the importance of quality education in today's world. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for joining us on the program today. I hope your day has been fine so far.
Yeah.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Aisha, for having me in the studio with you today. I'll be lucky to be with you in our studio. I'm a ardent lover of your program. I've been following you. It's nice meeting you one on one.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm flattered. Thank you. Well, as we all know, knowledge is the key to unlocking potentials, and we are all advised to keep learning and growing every day. And this is what brings us to today's program. Today, we will be speaking on quality education. First of all, would like to know, what does education mean to you? I mean, as an educator and a professor, what does education mean to you?
Thank you very much for the correction, please. We're an online program. I am not yet a professor, but the professor being referred to, it is based on my credibility and performance in education. So popularly, people refer to me as Professor. Thank you.
Okay, point taken.
Yeah. So education, as often said, is the bedrock of every society, and Nigerian, it's not exclusion. And for us to have development, to attain development, education is the basis of every development. And in education, the product of education, the end product of education is to develop the society, its research and developments. So, concisely, education simply means a change in behavior as a result of learning. So, if we have a change in behavior as a result of learning, then acquisition of knowledge and skills. This can be termed as education. So we can't jettison education. We can't override education. We can put education aside in our society. It is out of ignorance. Sometimes ago on social media, some group of fellows said school na scam. No, school has never been a scam.
It's actually a popular saying these days.
It's never a scam. It's unfortunate that we've never had it right in our country. We've not been able to link education with other very important sectors of society. And the cluster of education, the mistake people are making about this, we actually have three types of education. Education is not ended in formal education. So in a formal education, you have to attend school from primary school, secondary school, university, or any tertiary institution. Now, we have non-formal education. The non-formal education has to do with the education we got from home.
Okay.
Yeah. So you are being trained, being taught how to wash your clothes. You are being taught how to sweep the home. You are being taught how to greet the elderly people, how you have relationship with others in the society. It's a form of education on its own. So now we have informal education, where there is no curriculum. So the artisans, you learn trade, you learn organizing, you learn mechanics, roadside mechanics. All these things are education because you have been changing behavior. So when you have been introduced to learning, and after some times, you can comfortably repair, put a solution to a problem. That's education.
So skill acquisition
It's
is
also
an education. That's interesting. Let's move on to what you think are the most significant challenges facing the education sector in ensuring that it remains a priority for the youth.
Thank you very much. Let me start with the quality education.
The quality education.
Yes, I couldn't answer that. Now, quality education is the system of education that produces acquisition of knowledge and skills for development. Yeah. So, now what are the challenges we are having in this sector of education that makes us not to have the productive, quality education has to do with productive education, functional education. So, we have a lot of problems. We have a lot of problems in Nigeria as regards this quality in education. Education is poor funded in Nigeria.
It's poorly funded.
Yes, it's poorly funded in Nigeria. That is the truth. If you look at 2025 budgets now, you find out that the budget, educational budget, will be the least. So unlike other countries of the world where the education is productive, they give reasonable percentage of the budget of the country to education. Because without education, you can't be a doctor. Without education, you can't be a lawyer. Without education, we can't see anything in the society. We can't see anything in the society. So until education is well funded, it's well funded, adequately funded, that's one of the problems. We have to look into that. And we have to look at the payments to the teachers in primary school, secondary school. Sometimes ago, I saw a video of teachers in China. They were using most expensive cars in the world. They are well respected. They are well treated. But is that the case in Nigeria? That's one of the problems. The situation whereby you are giving somebody 45,000 naira in states, you're giving somebody 70,000 naira for 31 days of working.
As a teacher.
As a teacher. So it's alarming, it's touching, it's a nightmare. So that person cannot put his or her efforts. He or she will not be dedicated to that work.
So it dampens their productivity.
Yes, that's reduced drastically the productivities of teachers. And again, we have poor administration. Poor administration. Educational sector that has not been properly administered. So we have people who are not really competent. The policies on education by these people, some of these policies are weakened. Some are obstinate. You have to look at the current trend in the world and try to bring in the policy that will affect positively the sector. So we have such problem.
Let me come in here before you go on, please. Is it because, do you think these incompetent teachers that are being brought into the educational system is as a result of the poor funding of the sector? You think the most bodies, most schools now just employ who they can find because that is what they can offer as payment?
Not really. The problem with our education really, it's the policy implementation.
The policy implementation.
Policy implementation. Nigeria as a state, as a country, has always been having good policies. But the implementation of the policy has always been the problem. So, and the corruption in the system.
Yeah.
So now everybody is just looking for a way to beat the system. So when you are poorly paid, of course, you can be tossed into some illegal thing, some immoral thing, such as examination malpractices. Do you understand it now? So as the case is nowadays, it becomes a culture, a norm. So people believe now they can't even distinguish their right from the privileges they have. You can imagine a candidate in an examination or was actually dragging with the invigilator or the supervisor, as the case may be, on what is not his right. thinking that is his right,
Okay.
of giving assistance. And I think large of that is being caused by the parents.
By the parents of the
Yeah,
student.
parents generally, parents are the ones. When you don't give quality, help your words to have quality education. Education is not all about how to read and to write. It is beyond that. That is literacy education. And that is what we have been doing in Nigeria.
Okay.
So one who can speak good English, so is known to be an educated person.
Yes.
A man who did not have the forward knowledge of the university, or the tertiary institution, but who has a very good knowledge of what he's doing because of his ineffective in communication, will not be given respect that this person is educated in this way. So that has been the problem. Until parents support the government and the policy to ensure that their wards have good education. If it's required to provide tutors for them after the school, you provide tutors for them. If it will require you to enroll them in lessons, you enroll them in lessons, not by giving money to some victory centers, as it's called nowadays, to help your wards to pass.
To just move on to the next level. And we hear a lot of cases these days where we hear victory, like you said, victory centers. I've heard of magic centers. They're giving them really funny names these days to just help them, accelerate to the next level, not minding whether they are actually fit for that level actually. And I think that also should be looked into judiciously, because I mean, if a student is not actually fit for the next level, why then should the parents truly want that child to move on? Do you think it's because of do you think it's financial? Do you think it's because of the finances attached to this? You think they just want to, wrap it up so they don't waste time repeating a child? Like you said now, education goes beyond reading and writing. So do you think it's just because of the economic factor, and they're like, I can't afford this. So let this child just move on and perhaps might pick up moving on.
No, economic factor is part of the problem, but it is not the priority nor the major problem.
It should not be the priority or major problem.
The major problem is ignorance.
Okay.
And inadequate sensitization of parents who don't have the modern day education. Then also those acclaimed educated parents who really want to force their words into one field of endeavor or the other, without looking at the capacity and the capability of such a child. That's another problem. So nowadays, my mom was a stark illiterate. I mean, she's a stark illiterate. She couldn't even read, she couldn't write and all that. But she lost education. So she encourages us. She gave money. Go to lesson, go attend lesson. If I had had education, I wouldn't have been here today. Education is light. So she understands the value of education. Therefore, she wanted our children to be well educated. So that's assisted us a lot. So, but in this current age, because of the unhealthy competition among parents sometimes, you don't just push a child to become what the child does not have capacity of doing or becoming. You just have to monitor the child very well. You just have to give the child support. When you look at it, we've heard so many cases whereby parents will go to school to scold teachers, to beat up teachers for some certain things that their children are being corrected from in school. I think we need to look into this critically, that if we want development, effective education, it is in the hand of every stakeholder of education, not only the government, also the parent, everybody. So you must realize that what will this child become tomorrow? After university, that's why you see everybody is looking for white-collar job. So it means we've not had it right in education. And what our industry, what is the work of our industry? The institution of research. How many times have companies come to our institutions of learning, higher institutions of learning, to look at the research, to sponsor the research? You can sponsor the research, you want to produce this thing, there can be an innovation from a student. This is a project for a student. So you sponsor it. So the system will run, make us to rely solely on the government or to get white-collar job, that it has to be the government. Or if you have seen or you have heard the testimonies of others who were innovative, who were creative, and they were able to invent one thing or another, and they are doing very well in that sector. So there will be no rush. There will be no that pressure on the government. Everybody wants to get government job. And you can imagine this stupid thing. Someone will go to university. During your NYSC, that is when you realize you have to learn tailoring. Do you understand? Yes, now you're not learning tailoring.
Skill acquisition.
You understand? So vocational studies, skill acquisition was supposed to be driven right from the primary school. What we have today, fine. You said if you go to our curriculum right away, we have such thing there. But they were being taught the same way, like former thing, the way we learn English, we learn other thing. There's no practical ends. What the children should know, what the students should know. I think if you ask for my candid opinion about that, schools, I mean, it has to be internalized that you bring someone who is involved, who is practically, that is the person's job. If you were to talk about block industry, get a man who is molding block, who has been in the block molding for some years, who has experience. Match that knowledge of that man.
Depth of that field.
Yes. We can bring Aliko Dangote to our university to teach entrepreneurship.
Yes.
To let people know that I started from selling cement. So from cement now I have the vision that no, I need to own a cement company. I must be in this thing. You can't just give it to the hand of someone who receives salary. I mean, in the case of a lecturer, is a salary earner. He's not doing it practically to teach entrepreneurship. What do you think is going to happen to the students? They only have the head knowledge without the practical understanding of it. They come out of the university, they're still looking for a job. So the learning has not been driven home. It is by that. We have to relent on each other to achieve this quality education in our country.
Well, indeed, there is a popular saying that goes, it takes a village to actually raise a child. We will be going on a very short break, and when we come back, we will be discussing on the importance on quality education in today's world. Please stay with us.
Ready for change? Join LJE Nigeria, an innovative organization driven by change, growth, and economic advancement. For membership details and registration, visit our website ljenigeria.org or follow us on all social media platforms.
Welcome back. Before we went on that very short break, we were having a discussion with Matt Rock Laudel, where we're breaking down the importance of quality education in today's world. Now, let's move on to the aspect of technology and how it has fit into today's world. Now, my question is, how do you see the shift? Do you see it as a threat to education presently? You know, the shift from the traditional method of technology, of education rather, now to the digital method of technology being influenced in the traditional method of education?
Yeah, it's a positive one. It's a positive one. Technology has come to stay. The result of science is what we have today as technology. and technology has come to improve the standard of living of man. So we cannot override technology in education. The ICT, it's very, very important. As a matter of fact, in our country, in Nigeria, we have not been taking enormous advantage of technology. And that's very appalling. We talk about job opportunity in Nigeria. This is an area whereby if we show more attention to, I was talking to a friend who is trying to take me to one of our politicians and all that. I said, no, if we can have a way where our politicians can, I coined it entrepreneurship, education, and agriculture. Let's merge it together. You can't stop the current generation from the technology. It is not possible. You'll be shocked to see a child, let's say, of 5, the way that child can handle phone, how that child can operate phone. You'll be shocked. So that's will actually give you an attention, and you can easily, as people often say that we have recycle bin. That these children are the people who had been in this world before. After their departure, they now came back to the world. So
yes.
how can we internalize, how can we integrate education with the modern day technology? That is what we should be talking about. So now, how do we do that? The ICT should be effective right from the prime school. So right from the prime school, the elementary school, give them the opportunity. You are talking about orthodox method of learning, of education. So we actually have, this is the problem. We have authoritative teachers in the orthodox, that is traditional education.
Traditional education.
Okay. In this modern education, it has to be democratic. So it has to be, okay, how can we do this? You can't just accept that you are highland of knowledge. Now, it has to be, okay, this is what we want to do. How many of you have seen this before? How many of you can operate this technology? We need to merge it. We need to go into it very well, into technology. Technology improves agricultural sector. Technology improves all the sectors in the world. So it is only in education. So we need to start teaching the pupils from the prime school the importance of technology. How can you be a medical doctor without having good knowledge of technology? How can you be an engineer, electrical engineer, electronics engineer, building engineer, architectural design or whatever? All these things, technology makes them to be simple. So the earlier we start giving this opportunity to the pupils in primary school, to our secondary school, fine. It is in the curriculum in the secondary school today now. They do business studies. They do data processing and all that. But who are the people taking these courses? And how do they drive in the importance of this, even to the list of the people in the society, the children of the people in the society? How can this be driven?
So if I may come in here, you are stating that you don't see technology as a threat now.
It is not. We just being reluctant to development.
But in the aspect of, or in the areas where these days the students do not even want to take their time to understand what they are being taught, you give perhaps the assignments when they're given an assignment or a project, and everybody can just go to their phones or other devices and quickly Google it up and copy and paste.
Now,
You don't see that as a negative aspect to technology and the orthodox
let me give
educational
you an
method.
empirical analysis on that. I use myself as a case study.
Okay.
How I'm a father. My daughter currently in the university, when she was with me, I got her a phone, but you are not taking your phone to school. When you come back from school, you can use the phone. And largely, what are you using the phone for? When she is where she was given assignment from school that requires her to look at some certain things on net. So now I stopped her. If you have not written WAEC, you don't open WhatsApp.
Okay.
You don't.
Okay.
I can't find you on Facebook.
Okay.
So that has to do with parents.
Okay.
So parenting, quality parenting here. In a situation whereby a teacher talked to a student who brought phones to school and was not concentrating in learning in school because of the phone and the site that they use and all that, it has to do with it is a job of the parents.
Okay.
You can't stop them from having it. So you can give them the one that doesn't have the function of Android while you buy them laptop. They have to. Okay, now, if you are writing a JAMB examination, UTME, for instance, it is now electronic format,
Yeah.
unlike our days that is a paper one and all that. So how can such students who is not exposed to modern day technology write such an examination? So we need to give them, but monitoring them to know what they perform on the phones
That's
is a
important.
key. It's important.
Okay.
Yes, they need to have phone. There's nothing wrong with having phone, but don't let it be a time-consumed device for them, and know what they look at and all that in this. So how effective are the children in spellings? How effective are the children in essay, your mathematics and all that? Do you know one of the advantages of it? I can be your teacher in school. I'm teaching you mathematics, for instance. Then you can have other teachers around the world who have a better method of solving a particular mathematical problem than the one I introduced to you. So the student can learn. There are other apps which there's application that students can use to learn.
Yes.
So there are other things. So we can't stop them from having it. It is just for us to have a mayor, a punitive mayor, how to control them and to guide them. No, you are not using it now. Okay, you are using your phone 2 hours in a day. Okay, you have to study your book before you use your phone.
So this should go back home.
Yes.
Okay.
So we can't continue with the orthodox method of learning. No, it's archaic. It cannot.
We know there's this very popular saying, another popular saying that says every good thing has its advantage and its disadvantage. Yes, correct. Well, let's move on to how do you think we can ensure that education continues to be seen as a tool for long-term empowerment rather than just a means to an immediate end?
All right. It is a tool for long-time empowerment. It is when education is productive and functional. When the education is productive, in the clusters of education, if we are able to interlink education, it will be for long time. It will be a tool for long time empowerment. But if there is a gap in it, if we are not having it right, then that's where the problem comes. And how can we achieve that? It is for the stakeholders of education to come to the round table to implement a policy that can thrive in Nigerian society concerning education. Then the importance of technology in education and the importance of entrepreneurship in education. So the end product of our education will not be relied on the government to absorb all the unemployed group. No. So when we understand the entrepreneurship and the government creates enabling environments, how to assess loan. Assessment of loan in Nigeria is cumbersome. It is not realistic in any way. So when you have a good idea, unlike America, Bill Gates was working on a Microsoft, and he approached a bank for 500,000. It wasn't up to $1 million, and immediately it was given to.
Granted.
Then the following day, the bank people were looking for him to give him $1 million because they saw the viability in the business.
Post business.
Yes. So I believe if he were to be in Nigeria, he would have still been in his village.
His dreams might have been
Yes.
still.
So we have a lot of these youth, young ones, viable, intelligent, energetic, with good ideas. But when the finances are not there, so it becomes so troublesome, so discouraging and disheartened. So until we have a sector where there could be accessibility, there could be a way of assessing money, loans with little interest rates
attached to them.
attached to it, until we find the companies, industries that could be coming to our university, our tertiary institution, or to get research work, and the research student or research fellows to work with and perfect it. Over there in the Western world, when you have something you are working on, you showcase it to a company. When they look at it, that is a lucrative one, it is going to be a memorandum of understanding. This is what you are going to have, and that is what you are going to have. By doing that, you are encouraging even the ones that are coming behind you that education is truly a key. And that will make our education to be a productive and functional education. We can't continue doing it the same way. We have to come to round table. We have to come to our senses. No, we can't thrive. What brings about the Yahoo boys, in quote, Yahoo Yahoo? What brings about it? When they see that, they have the loved one, the elderly people who had finished university for some period of time, they don't get job. As it is in Nigeria, everybody thinks when you go to school, you come back to get a job. So if they find out that my brother read mechanical engineering and now is doing well, everybody wants to be better off. There is an improvement, but everybody wants an improvement in standard of living. Yes, why do you go to school? You go to school to learn, to acquire education, to acquire knowledge. And if your education is not making you better off, then people looking at you wouldn't want to have such education.
It is actually a wake-up call to the government. It is a wake-up call to the government. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. This was a very, very interesting conversation. I'm sure we will come back again and shed more light on this. Thank you so much, Rock Mass
Laudel.
Lovell. Very beautiful name.
You're welcome,
Thank
Mike.
you so much for joining us in the studio today. It was a pleasure having you. And this is where we come to an end on this episode of Leadership Dialogue. Thank you for staying with us. I am Aisha Shatima. Remember to follow us on all social media platforms at LJE Nigeria. Till I come your way again next time, it's goodbye for now.